Today we've got the Mazda MX-5 RF Grand Touring, a 2025 model. This is a Sky Active 2.0 liter 6-speed sport mode Mazda Miata. So first and foremost, let's start with the back here. You can see the MX-5 badging here on the left, the Sky Active G badging on the right, which is the engine of the car. You can see immediately that it's incredibly small in the back end because this is only a two-seater. So you can see that the trunk space is limited on this car, but since it's a two-seater, you do get some extra space. So let's take a look in the cockpit. The cockpit of this car is beautiful. I love this tan interior with the black. Over here we have our controls, which is just the two automatic window controls and the lock and unlock and the mirror control. And then once we get into the car, we've got a couple controls here. Past the steering wheel, we have our traction control, our automatic headlights, and then the Mazda security right here, notification on and off. Then we have our cluster up here, which doesn't pick up well on video. So let's move straight to the steering wheel, which has every possible thing you could want on the steering wheel. We have our audio controls, up, down, mute, more audio controls. You can hit info here. It won't show up too great, but you can see on the left there, if I'm hitting info, it'll actually change to show you alerts. It will show you your fuel economy, your trip, distance, and many more. Then we also have our voice activation controls, our telephone controls if you're Bluetooth connected to your phone. Over here, we have our radar controls, which will show on the screen if you're driving how far you are from the car ahead of you. You can push cancel there for your cruise control. Cruise controls here, on off cruise control. Pretty good features there. The windshield wipers are over here, excuse me. Windshield wiper controls over here. You have an auto control for the rain sensing wipers. Then over here we have our headlight controls, automatic headlights, of course, running lights, regular, brights. And then let's move to the dash here. Of course, we have our stop start button in all new Mazdas. We have the push button start, which is nice. Here we have our controls for the AC, the climate controls. These are actually, I prefer personally. I don't love the digital clusters, and you still have all your automatic functions. You can see if I can turn this wheel very easily to on, off, max, minimum, or just automatic. So whatever I have this set to here, if I want it warm, it will automatically take into account your setting here, and you can just easily twist that to where you want it to be. And then over here is the same way. We can automatically select all of these features, or we can do it manually. And then you just push it in for the rear defroster, push it in for AC, push it in for the recycling of the air. So I love this. This is my favorite thing in this car, actually. I love the functionality of these dials. I think it's so much more tactile and pleasing to actually be able to feel that clicking of, oh, I'm doing something, instead of pushing a button. And then, of course, here is our convertible control. All you have to do is hold this button up and the whole top of this car will lift off. I don't want to do it right now, but over here, then we have some ports. We have our two USB Type-C ports for charging your phone. We have our heated seats for the driver and the passenger. And you might be wondering, with all of this tiny space, there's no cup holders. Like you're not seeing any cup holders here, right? All I'm seeing is the gear selector and then the hub changer, what's it called? The infotainment controls here with the home button, navigation, and the music controls. There's no cup holders. It's actually right over here. It's attached to the side here for the passenger side. But since this is a two-seater car, you only have the passenger seat and the driver's seat, which means we should have a second cup holder, right? Well, if we go down here, you can see quite clearly there is a second cup holder here in the middle of the car. Here's our second cup holder. You can actually go in here and remove it if you don't want it there. And then right above it is some extra storage space, which is actually a nice handy little thing here. It's actually pretty deep too. I can fit my whole camera in there if I wanted to. Let's see if I can actually. Look, yeah, I can fit this entire camera in there. Boom. Look at that extra storage space. That's nice to have for whatever you need. And then of course we have even more storage space right here. So right in the middle console here is some extra storage space. Ignore the Red Bull and the camera there, I was hungry or thirsty. See, you know, Red Bull's got me tweaking already. So let's talk about this, though. We got some controls here for our infotainment system, which I personally think are great. I think Mazda infotainment can be a little bit convoluted to manage, so we'll talk about it. Of course, I neglected here is our sport mode, which is that 6-speed sport mode. But let's talk about it. Let's go through it so that you know what you're doing when you get in this car. Let's hit home. So if we hit home, you'll see immediately here we have our home screen. Ignore my reflection if you can. And we can cycle through all of these options. The information option here will give you your fuel economy monitor, your vehicle status monitor, which is, you know, it's useful, it's helpful. It's not something you're gonna use a whole lot though. Entertainment, you'll use a bunch. This will just switch you straight to your radio, and all you have to do is hit that middle button again, and you can bring up your source list. You can go to your favorites, your stations, your tuner controls, all of that right here. Audio settings, of course, are a big one for people to mess with. The equalizer, the bass, the treble, the listening position to all seats, fader, the Bose autopilot, which is a feature I personally love. It has the automatically adjusting the music to compensate for road noise. So if you're on the freeway driving super fast, that if you turn this on, it will actually turn the volume up on your music automatically to compensate for a faster road or a faster speed. So if we go back down, let's hit this button again. We'll go home. So if we hit home again, it brings this menu right back up, and we can go down. Navigation isn't installed in this car, so you'll just get a compass. If you want navigation, there is this little slot here for an SD card. You pop that open. You can visit your local Mazda dealer, or I think you could probably find one online. You just pop that SD card in there and that will give you navigation, which is nice. So let's hit that home button one more time, and let's go down to settings. Settings is gonna be where all of your interesting, weird and quirky things are in this car. We have in-vehicle displays, which will give you a night mode. This is actually just for this center console entirely. You can actually just turn the display completely off. You can set it to night mode automatically, which will make this a little darker, make it black so it's not so resting on the eyes. You can adjust the brightness of it, the contrast of it, and then you can adjust the home clock, the ambient display, or you can just restore everything to your factory settings, which is very nice. It's very convenient. Sound settings, we went over a little bit. This is just going to be your audio settings, the fader, the balance, the bass, treble, equalizer, all that stuff. The safety settings are where some weird and interesting features are, though. We have the driver's assistance, and this is... There's so many random little things in here. Let's get a close-up. The Mazda radar cruise control, which is basically just your assisted cruise control. You have, when you're driving, there'll be a car 30 yards in front of you, and this car has radar to detect how far it is away from you, and it will compensate your speed based on how far that car is away from you, and that will be done right here again. So if I push this, and that means that the car will be closer to me, or I can push this and it will compensate the speed to make it further away, which is nice. Or you can just turn it off entirely. The radar cruise control you can just not have. If you don't like that feature where it's braking for you or accelerating for you, just turn it off. Some people really don't like it, especially if a car cuts in front of you really fast and your car brakes really hard. People don't like that. I get it. So you can just turn that off right there. This is some traffic recognition systems and some audible alerts you can turn on or off. The car will beep at you or make a noise if something happens in particular. So we can turn those on or off here, or just restore it all to factory defaults. Right now it is at factory default since this is a brand new Miata. If you're just getting a little crazy with the steering wheel, you get over a little bit too much, or you're on your phone and you start drifting a little bit, this will actually yell at you and say, hey, wake up, idiot, you're crossing over into a different lane, which is nice. And it'll give you a little steering wheel, I can't speak, vibration. So if you're like, oh, I'm drifting, it'll start buzzing and shake you a little bit. Here on our there's a little bit of an indicator right there. It's difficult to see. Let me roll the window down for you. It's still difficult to see, but right here, right there, you can see it. That little dark spot, that is your blind spot monitor. And when you have a car in your blind spot back here, it'll actually detect the car and make a little red or blue or green, I don't know what the color is of this vehicle, but it'll make a little indicator right there to say, hey, there's a car back here you might not be able to see. And that's really nice. If you hit your signal then, while this is lit up, the indicator is on, the signal will tell the car that you're trying to change lanes, but the car knows that there's a vehicle in your blind spot, and it will alert you to that fact. It'll start screaming at you and say, hey, don't do that, which is the audible and the visual cue. So you can turn that off too if you don't want it. Then we have the vehicle exit warning. If you leave the vehicle and you leave the key in it, or the car's still on, it will yell at you. So all of these are just little safety features that make the drive a little bit better, a little bit more convenient, or a little more annoying for some people. So you can turn those on or off. I personally like all those features. You can see the safety, some more safety features. These aren't really anything crazy. Smart brake support, which is basically just if there's gonna be a collision or if it detects a collision, it's gonna brake for you, which can be very useful. Then we've got over here the driver attention alert, which is a weird feature that many people don't know about. It's the inattention or fatigue alert. It'll actually yell at you if it detects that you're not paying attention. So I'm like, oh, here I am, I'm looking at my phone. Yeah, I keep looking down away from the car. I'm driving. It's actually gonna say, hey, I can see that you're looking away from the road too much, and it's gonna yell at you for doing that. Say, hey, stop looking away from the road, actually start driving. Or if you're fatigued and you start drooping your head, oh yeah, I'm tired, boom, it's gonna yell at you. This is the fatigue alert. If you don't like it, for whatever reason, just turn it off right there. Then we have the pedal misuse alert, which, sometimes, I'm driving, woohoo, I'm getting crazy, and I go boom, and I hit both of these pedals on accident at the same time. You know what it's gonna do? It's gonna yell at you, just like all those other features. So that you can turn off as well. If you're a fond pedal misuser and it yells at you too much, just turn it off. That's not a big deal. Then we have vehicle settings, so there's even more. We have the doors, the exterior lighting, interior lighting, rain sensing wipers, turn signals. All of these you can calibrate. The turn signal one is interesting though. You can actually have a 3-flash turn signal. So if you do this, watch. If you go all the way down, it's gonna just be on indefinitely until you turn. But if I just hit it slightly, like halfway, boom, 1, 2, 3, and it's off. So if you're changing lanes and you don't want to deal with this being on or left on, just hit this down a little bit and you'll get that 3 signals. You can change your lane and it will be off already, which is great because sometimes you change lanes, you think it'll turn off automatically, it doesn't. So that's really nice. I love it. You can turn it off there if you don't. And then there's the obviously the volume of the turn signal. You can turn that up super loud if you for some reason like the sound of a turn signal, which I do not. The rain sensing wipers, of course, are nice. It can automatically detect rain on the windshield and it will turn the wipers on for you. A lot of automatic features in this Miata, which I love. Then the Bluetooth connectivity settings, of course, if you want to connect your phone, and let's be real, we all do, just connect it right here, hit this button. You can turn on Bluetooth, turn on touch in motion. You can pair your device. You can actually change the connection order. If you have multiple devices and your device you want connected before your girlfriend's or your partner's or whoever, you just change the connection order here, which is nice. Nice little feature. Just don't let anybody know that that's there except for you, so that you have the priority. System settings is really basic. It's just the little dinky little settings like the clock, your language, voice recognition, your region. You can change your region to wherever if you end up moving. That's nice. The temperature you can change from Fahrenheit to Celsius, or the miles per hour to kilometers per hour, PSI, all these little features that you probably won't use, but if you end up moving to a new country and want to bring your car, or end up deciding that you like Celsius more than Fahrenheit for whatever reason, you can change that there. So that's most of the home features. You can get also notifications simply by going left here, just pushing over like that. Boom, you have your notifications there. See, and these are the priority notifications right now. It says I'm a little low on fuel since this car is brand new. It hasn't been gassed up completely yet. And then we can just push over left on that same dial and it will bring us back to the home menu here. Of course, you can see here the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. If you are connecting your phone to this vehicle automatically, you can connect it through Bluetooth, or you can connect again through these USB Type-C ports down here, and that will give you Apple CarPlay, which I personally think is great. That will give you the navigation that you want. That will give you audio controls. That will give you your messages and your phone. It'll give you every control that you could want through your phone, through the Mazda, just by plugging in your iPhone or your Android right here. Android CarPlay, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Great. Love it. I love those features. So that's basically the Mazda Miata. It's a small car, so there's not a ton of features, but it does overwhelm you, especially in the settings, with how much it does secretly have. There's so many little alerts. There's so many little features that the car won't really tell you about. You'll just kind of learn about them through getting yelled at. But now you know, you can go in, you can change all those settings there. So let's get this car out on the road and see how it performs. The Mazda Miata RF Grand Touring. Let's go. So, of course, this car is an automatic. It's really simple. We all know automatics. We all love automatics, unless you love stick. A lot of people love stick, enthusiasts. All you do with this one, push this button down and just pull it straight back. So you have your drive, of course, you have neutral, and you have your reverse. The reverse is going to bring up this backup camera, which is nice. It's actually a fisheye wide angle, so you can get a whole ton of information there. But we're just going to go straight into drive, of course. And here we go. As you can see immediately, the ride is pretty smooth, but since it's such a small car and its priority is on speed and sportiness, it will be a little bit louder than most. The performance is good in it. It has 181 horsepower and about the same pound-feet of torque. I believe it's like 165 pound-feet of torque. We're coming out of this little park here, and as we accelerate, you can hear this car's power, and that's one thing that it's really prioritizing, is the audible power of this little car. Listen to this. And that's not even in sport mode. You can hear that it's really working to push this car forward. So now I'm gonna bring this down here and we're gonna select sport mode. Boom. So that immediately puts the car in a sport mode. It will rev the engine higher. It'll give you 6 speeds of changing, and then you can hear it's so much more louder as it's revving higher to give you more power, to give you more energy. The handling actually tightens up a lot too, so you feel really connected to the road as you're driving. It's just a beautiful little driving vehicle. So here we go. If you really love this Mazda Miata, just turn right in here to Santa Fe Mazda and come pick it up today, because this will not last. It is so much fun. I personally love it. I would buy it. So come check it out.